So this is a video diary. I'm going to tell my story where I progressed from realizing that I kind of need to lose weight to going down a really kind of darkish road where I realized that I'm going to need bariatric surgery. I guess one of the things you could ask is, why should I make this video? Really, I guess it's for myself. I mean, this is going to tell my journey and how I go through this process of deciding that I actually need to have surgery. I mean, like to me, this is one of the biggest and most important events in my life. I had a mentor one time named Karen Pushy who said that in order for a change process to actually work, people needed to know why the change process was happening. So this is my chance to tell you and tell me why I'm doing this process. When I was in high school, I was never overweight, and as a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I usually weighed right around 130 pounds. The time that I moved, I think from my sophomore to my junior year, I ended up gaining a lot of weight, and I went from weighing 130 pounds to 190 pounds. The way I did that was I worked out every single day. I mean, and when I say worked out, I mean I would go to the gym and exercise, I would play basketball, I would engage in every physical activity I possibly could. I did a lot of outdoor work, and it was all physical labor that summer, and I just worked out, and I ate. And when I say I ate every available ounce of protein I could find. I ate protein like you would not believe. I remember one day eating, I believe, 5 tuna fish sandwiches for lunch, and at the end of it feeling like that was good. It filled me up, but it didn't make me overfull. I exercised. And so by the end of that year, or going into my junior year, I no longer weighed 130 pounds. I weighed 190 pounds. It was cool. It was exciting. I mean, the best part about it was that people were asking me if I was using steroids. And this was just from exercising every day to the point of exhaustion and eating every single ounce of protein that I could find. That was how it happened. It happened because I made it happen. And then my first year of college, my eyes were open to numerous other possibilities as far as eating goes. I ate every piece of food I could find, and most of it wasn't healthy. I had less time to exercise, and I found that ordering a pizza every night for dinner was way more convenient than going down to one of the cafeterias at UVM and having whatever was there for dinner. I never drank soda until I went into college, and then it was just way more convenient to actually just get soda out of the soda fountains that they had there. I mean, I didn't drink milk anymore. I never drank water. I stopped eating the meat and potatoes that my mom would make, and I started eating carbs, and every ounce of carbs that I could find. And by the end of that first year of college, I had gained 40 pounds and I weighed 230 pounds. The next few years were a bit of a blur, and between a couple of heartaches, changes in my major, car troubles, school problems, and really just an overall inattention to what was good for me, I finished college weighing 260 pounds. 260 pounds. From 190 in high school to 260 in college. The next couple of decades were very uneventful as far as my weight is concerned. I mean, I was able to meet the love of my life and marry her. I was able to have 3 beautiful daughters. Currently, we have the 5th dog that we've had in our lives. We were able to buy a house. I was able to start a really good career, and things were going spectacular. But my weight was really just my weight. It is what I was. I tried to lose sometimes. I exercised as much as I possibly could. It just became a lower priority item. I mean, there were other things to focus on. And then suddenly, in my late 30s, I go in to see my PCP, and I'm told that I have this thing called metabolic syndrome. And it was shown that my blood glucose was slightly elevated, not dangerously, just slightly. My cholesterol was high. I was going to start needing to take a cholesterol lowering medication. And if I didn't do something about this, I was going to have to start taking an anti-diabetic agent. I would have to be on pills for the rest of my life. I'll be really honest, that was very frustrating and it scared the crap out of me. I mean, I got a notification in the mail one day asking me if I would like to attend this thing called Reducing Diabetes Through Diet and Exercise. And it was a year-long workshop where you go and you meet with professionals to focus on how you could change how you ate and lose weight. And by doing that, you would actually, and how you would change how you exercise, you would lose weight. And by doing that, you would reduce your risk of developing diabetes. I signed up for it, and I spent the next year as like this active participant in that group. I was able to go from my starting weight, which at that point was 311 pounds, down to 279 pounds. And while that may not seem like that's that much of a loss, it was a big enough loss that it really had a good impact on my lab levels, made me look like I was doing better, and I was feeling overall pretty good. And then the most ridiculous of things happened. I was at work one day and I saw that there was an eraser on the floor. I bent over to pick up that eraser, and while I was bending over, I felt my knee pop. When my knee popped, I was on the ground. I ended up having to be on I think a 2-week disability thing. I wasn't able to exercise anymore. I had to spend the next 6 weeks of like pretty much a light duty. It was ridiculous, and I was very frustrated by it. But the worst part was at the end of the 6 weeks, I stepped on the scale, and not only had I gained all of the weight that I had lost back, but I had gained more. And now I weighed more than I had even started in this process. I spent the next year really trying to monitor my diet. I did all kinds of different things. I went back to really tracking everything that I ate. And for a month or two, it would be good. But just that whole lifelong commitment of having to stare at every single piece of food I was eating and evaluate whether or not it was going to fit within my calorie totals, it was overwhelming. It was also pretty apparent that I was going to need to do something radical to make this stick. So I spent the next year really trying to monitor everything that I ate, everything that I was exercising. I mean, I put pen to paper with every single thing that would come into my mouth, and it yielded some results, but they were just so minimal. It was really apparent to me that I was going to have to do something radical. And suddenly I reached my breaking point. My size had never impacted me. I was able to go parasailing if I wanted to go parasailing. I was able to find clothes, and though it was a little bit of a challenge, I could usually buy them off the rack. I was able to go on roller coasters at Disney with my family. I was able to go hiking. I was able to go jogging. In general, I could do whatever I wanted. I could play basketball. I could go for bike rides. Really, what I wanted to do was play with my kids, and I could. But it turns out that I couldn't do everything, because I got in line and waited for the hour with my kids to ride on the Superman at Six Flags New England, and I was too big to get in it. The feeling that I had as I walked away from the ride and my kids were on it, my daughter was crying, and I wasn't able to ride it because I was too big. That feeling, I can't describe it. I mean, it was a failure like you've never felt failure before. It was something that I knew I needed to do something about. Unfortunately, it was a failure that I had created. I had not been able to manage my weight. And even though I'd spent the last few years trying to do a whole lot of different things, including change my diet, change my approach to exercise, I was still too big to ride on that ride. And so I decided that I needed to do something more permanent. My weight, my size, they will never keep me from doing anything with my kids in the future. So in October of 2015, I started the series of appointments that it takes to lead to a gastric bypass. These videos are going to tell about that process. They're going to tell about it from my point of view. I know that GoPros are meant to share and record extreme events. And this probably doesn't seem that extreme. I mean, it's a guy sitting in a chair talking to a camera about his weight loss. It probably doesn't seem that extreme. But I believe this will be the most extreme thing that I've probably ever done. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this first video. You know, I've never done anything like this before. like, I know that you guys like sometimes will like do like home videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make you feel nervous, like getting prepared at all? Doesn't it all? Because like I'm feeling like a little bit like I feel a little stupid and like a little bit like why am I talking into a camera?